People romanticize rural Africa, but there's a side that nobody ever prepares you for. Being someone who's born and raised in Africa, I'm put in a position where I can provide insight on the real rural African experience and not the BS version you see on the media. So part 1 of the series was all about the surface level realities, but part 2 is going to cover the deeper aspects of living in rural Africa. Things that nobody talks about, I'll be exposing to you. From the core of Africa to the hidden societal norms and mental health crisis no one talks about, all the way to the metaphysical, mystical, and straight up magical side that the locals call witchcraft. Today we'll be covering all that and much, much more. And so buckle up, grab some popcorn, and pray to an African deity because this one's gonna be one hell of a trip. Number 1, we got African voodoo, aka witchcraft. See, witchcraft is basically the ability to affect reality in a supernatural and often demonic way with the aim of either harming someone's life or benefiting it in a variety of ways. Lucky for you, I have first-hand experience of this. It's around 2010, and I'm about 7 years old, living with my parents at our old house located at the edge of the city in a very rural neighborhood. Now, in this neighborhood, we had an old lady that was rumored to be a witch. This is a very common rumor in rural Africa. Most of the time, it's not true at all, but despite the fact, it still prompts a level of caution around the subjects of said rumors. Let's call her Granny H. Granny H was our next door neighbor. She owned multiple small rental houses in the same compound as her own house, and one of her tenants was my cool Uncle Frank. He wasn't actually my uncle, I just called him that, bro. But he was a young 20-something-year-old man with a decent job at the same spot my mom worked at. This is a very important detail because I guarantee you this man was not crazy. But what happened next will genuinely make you think he was. At this point, the rumors of Granny H practicing witchcraft were intensifying around the town. Many of her tenants were moving out because they were scared, bro. And so one fateful night, I hear a loud knocking on our gate at like 2 a.m.
Open up! Open up, please! Let me in!
I recognize that voice. It's Uncle Frank. Wait, but why now? My mom quickly gets up and lets him in. I rush to the living room where I'm met with a deep sense of existential dread permeating the room.
Frank, what happened? Are you okay? It's 2 a.m. for goodness sake.
Listen to me, okay? I was not dreaming. This really happened. Please believe me. I was in my room when I was awoken by the sudden sounds of drumming outside. I tried to sleep through it at first, but it got progressively louder and louder. And then my heart started pounding when I realized this is exactly what the tenants said they heard before they had enough and they all left. So I decided to take a look. And I saw it. Through my window, what appeared to be many beings dancing in a circle to drum sounds. At the very center sat Granny H. But she didn't look normal at all. I was so scared. I stayed inside until the sounds disappeared. And then I ran here. I can't go back there, no matter what.
And so that was that. Shortly after, he too packed his bags and moved away, never to be seen in that neighborhood ever again. See, what seems like mystical woo-woo BS that can't be true in the West is a very solid and foundational reality in rural Africa, one that shapes beliefs, habits, ideas, and society as a whole. In rural Africa, it's not even a question of whether or not this stuff is real. It's a matter of whether or not you're going to be its next victim or a practitioner of the arts. Most people avoid it because it creates immense amounts of fear and is perceived to be a net negative to society by most people. However, this should not be lumped in with African spirituality. This idea that rural Africans worship witchcraft is plain wrong. Most fear and avoid it as much as possible, while also acknowledging it as a very real yet very small part of the bigger picture, that being African spirituality as a whole. And so, yeah, man, what are your thoughts, bro? Was Uncle Frank tripping, or did he actually see something real? Let me know in the comments if you've had a trippy experience yourself, because I know I've had my fair share of similar experiences. I'll just talk more on those on future videos. Number 2, we got gender inequality. Man, this is actually starting to sound like those high school civics essays. But anyways, for real though, this one is no laughing matter because it's one of the darkest aspects of rural Africa, and how normalized it is makes it even darker. Women basically have half the rights that men do. Their voices hold little to no influence whatsoever when it comes to major decisions. They are expected to almost blindly obey their husbands, even when unreasonable commands are being instructed. Speaking of obeying husbands, domestic violence in rural Africa is completely ignored. I mean, the whole man get drunk, man go home, man beat his wife, and then man go to sleep? That's just the norm over here, bro. No one bats an eye for the most part, and this leaves room for the men to feel entitled towards beating their women. Yeah, you thought that was it for the women? Nah, bro.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
Girls are expected to do way more unpaid domestic labor than the boys. It's up to them to fetch water, cook meals, wash dishes, clean the house, help the sick, and sometimes even farm work, all while all the boys have to do is occasional tasks like herding animals, a few errands here and there, and farm help. Even though the boys' jobs may be more physically intensive, they aren't done anywhere near frequently enough to compare it to the girls. Now, it's not all doom and gloom for the girls. You gotta understand, man, rural Africa is a completely different world from the city. Most women are actually very happy with this imbalance because, to them, it's what balance actually looks like. The idea of submitting to and trusting their husband's leadership 9 times out of 10 makes sense to them. Performing most of the less physically intensive yet highly nurturing tasks to them feels right. The strange power dynamics to them are just a way of life. It just so happens that this very mindset is exactly what leaves room for the men to abuse these dynamics. Number 3, an anti-progressive mindset. Now, before you get on my ass, I'm not talking down on maintaining certain traditions and cultural practices. Nah, I'm just pointing out the ones that have detrimental effects, especially on the youth. I'm someone who's a huge proponent of the idea that one can shape their own destiny once they awaken to their inner selves and the desires that they hold. Rural Africans don't give a fuck about none of that, bro. Dreams? Deep desire, bro. What are you, man? Martin Luther King? Get your ass on, bro. Get back to the farm. Start farming, bro. That flower is not gonna harvest itself. Pursuing your dreams and attempting to carve a path for yourself that isn't the typical go to school, graduate with good results, move to the city, get a good job, and send money back home is basically crazy talk to them. It's a huge betrayal of culture and the path set out for you. Rural African families in general propagate a mindset that forces people to keep their heads down, never stand out, follow the system, and do your best within it. This is why things progress much slower over there. On one hand, yeah, it's beneficial as it keeps life moving at a manageable pace, especially with the general lack of resources that's present in rural Africa. However, an even more detrimental downside to it is the sheer number of youthful dreams that have been crushed by this mindset. You guys don't understand just how many Kanye Wests have been crushed before they could even bloom, how many creative geniuses and political revolutionaries have been suppressed before they could even have their ideas see the light of day. Mental slavery is the worst form of slavery, but even that doesn't compare to the fact that we've been programmed to literally do it to ourselves. Ultimately, man, I hope this video has shed a light on the slightly darker yet deeper aspects of rural Africa. And so yeah, man, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and if you're interested in me personally and the behind the scenes process, which I will be posting very soon, then follow me on Instagram at naitwafreddy. But without further ado, bro, wait, what? Fuck, bro. I'm trying to wing this outro, but it's just difficult. Hey, man, I'll catch you on the next one, bro.